Okay, good morning. It's a pleasure to welcome you this morning. My name is Washington Prince Stafford Jr. I report for Hope TV Liberia and I work for Top TV Monrovia. This is a special interview with former representative aspirant District Number 16, Sarnor, former stalwart of the Congress for Democratic Change, the CDC for short. Today we're in a live interview with Mr. Sarnor to talk about some national trending political issues about the state of affairs of the country and the realities, the different political dimensions, that has erupted the politics of the country. So today we are here to talk to Sarnor to be able to give his own political perspective on national governance issues and the way forward to move, the stability of the country. Mr. Sarnor, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Washington.
It's a pleasure being here this morning and talking to you on national governance issues.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How have you been?
Oh, great. I'm grateful to God. Okay. As long we are alive with good health, okay. I think that's one of the most important things. The rest follow and fund for better future, okay. For better Liberia, because that's why we have always fought for. That's why we have gone to jail for. That's what we have stood for. Okay. It's not for ourselves, and this is why maybe we have not been being favored of many governments, okay. in the past.
For speaking out the equities,
because we want to see realistic change, not okay. cosmetics. Okay. We want to see the issue how corruption is going to be fought, how 60 to 70% of our people can get better jobs. Okay. How resources can be distributed equitably, even because we know that salary cannot be the same, based on educational background, but the resources may utilized where people can have an ends meet, be able to pay some bills, okay. send their children to school, pay for health care or what have you. And if the government cannot provide a job, then they can be able to provide some subsidy when it comes to the issue of health care, education, able to educate your population, because okay. government is the conduit for all sectors. Okay. How it runs, how things should be monitored, how transparency should be, okay. and how resources should be utilized right. for the benefit of the state.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, that was a very splendid on the performances of the Unity Party's government. This government is 1 year, probably 1 year, 6 months in office. This government was elected on the basis of transformation from the CDC's administration. CDC was elected. The CDC, Sarnor, was one of the proponents that brought to the limelight, to the pedestal of Liberian politics. It brought the CDC. The CDC ended its first term and was defeated in 2023.
Yeah, but equally so, I supported this government as well.
Yeah, but we're talking about you were a staunch supporter.
Yeah, well, I resigned was 7 years ago.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because you people brought the CDC to prominence, yeah. to the political pedestal, yeah. and you resigned 1 year within the CDC's administration.
No, now in the administration. 6 months prior to election, 2023 election.
Oh, 6 months prior to the 2023 elections. Okay, so let's talk about this government. It's 1 year, 6 months. What is your impression? What is your analogy, your political analogy, your political sentiments about the way you see the government proceeding on different national and policy issues? What is your concern? How do you express yourself to the government performance?
If I'm making comparative analysis between the two within the same period, it will be different than when I make an analysis on the total aggregate of governance as my perspective, how I want for the country to be. You know, at one aspect. But if I'm making comparisons between the former CDC government and that the current within the same
scope of time,
which is 1 year 6 months, 1 year 7 months, or 1 year 8 months, for the two institutions, I will say different thing. But if I'm making comparative analysis on the issue of governance, how I want to see my country, what I envisage, what I want for the country to be, then it will also be different analysis.
So what is your comparative analysis?
Okay, on the issue of the two, this administration will be a little bit better.
A bit better.
Yeah, than the previous administration on ground that within 1 year 6 months in the CDC, we saw the issue of 16 billion, 25 million. There were no rice, people buying rice 6,000, the gasoline 1,500 Liberian dollars, shortages of gasoline. There was no money in the bank. I'm a living testimony because I was affected by this. I got video testimonials or testimony to it. You know, the problem in Liberia, we are not honest to our conscience to our country. You know, we look up or prioritize party than the nation interest. So most of us pledge our allegiance to political party than pledging our patriotism or allegiance to the country. There where people come with 40 analysis and what have you because they want to favor their interests. You know, I have no major vested interest in party. My allegiance is to the country. Maybe this is why people see me differently. But any analysis I make at the end of the day will come to reality because it's not on the basis of partiality, it's on the basis of my expertise, my patriotisms, and my sincerity to my own conscience.
You're talking about difference. You're talking about better than. Can you be concise?
That's what I told you.
Precise.
You see, in the economy, what makes the economy is to have money in the bank. Is to have basic social services, meaning we talk about stable food, rice. We talk about the gasoline. If no gasoline, nobody can commute. If no money in the bank, there is no transaction. Then we'll go to a barter system. You know, how can transaction be easily done if you don't have liquidity in financial sector? We experience that. I have my own money in the bank. I issued a 500 check. They told me no money. I should go come back 2-3 days. I was working. Liberia, records are there. To be very honest with you, even though there are many issues, but I have not experienced that within a period of 1 year 6 months. I have not experienced, even though the issue of our policy should not be on rest. Because I see a lot of people, rest press down, you know, this, that. We could not continue to dive into red press coming down, mean that everything is okay. No. However, there is no rice shortage. And there is little reduction in the price of rice. Yeah, that's a reality. Gasoline prices are not going, there is no shortages of gasoline. And even though there is little increment, but it's still not as compared to with the previous administration within the 1 year 6 months. It's a statistics like that. That's why when we look at consumer price index, we look at a year. Let's say 2025 or 2024 or 2025-2020. Then you do your analysis and compare it. Then you attach percentage to it. Then you look. You tell us about inflation rate changes of prices. You know, that's why around the world, when there is high inflation, people make adjustment on income. You know, when there is increase in taxes, people also find hard to increase wages to balance the equation with respect to purchasing power. Liberia does not do this. Our country only inflicts taxes. They don't care whether people get job. They impose fees on people. They don't care whether you got a job. But if the people are poor, you don't impose hard taxes on them. If the people are poor, you don't monetize health sectors. If the people are poor, you provide subsidy in the health sector, because if you create more fees, you increase the death rate because they cannot afford. That's the honest reality. We say we have educated people, but our education on a book is quite different from our performance in governance. That's why.
So in your analysis, is that within the scope of 1 year, six months.
In the previous government, CDC government,
yeah,
and 1 year, 6 months
in
this administration is a little bit different.
It's a little
insecurity.
It's a bit different.
Yeah,
it's a bit different. Yeah. That means this government has a bit overperformed.
Not a bit, because we anticipated more
from this government.
Yeah. The point here is that we took CDC from power because I feel to myself they were not doing any better. They did not their level of governance, their sense of wisdom, their reasonings. It's all about individual likeness. In governance, if I don't like you, doesn't mean that when the government owe you, I should not pay. You understand what I'm saying?
All of these things. All of these things that you're speaking about.
I don't have to like you for the government to owe you as a president and say you're stronger than me. It doesn't make any sense.
Why you make this analogy?
Because why? People attach that, oh, you let me say you can't get this. He doesn't like our president.
Where are you going?
I'm making
where are you going?
Issue of leadership.
Are you making reference to the CDC?
Yeah. Because these are the things. Oh, and it doesn't mean that when I critique the sitting president, meaning that I hate the president. So when I look at the performance of the previous government, I think on what happened in Gaza with that of...
So actually what I'm not getting is that this analogy that you just made, that, oh, because you're not like the man, so you can strangulate him. Was these things observed in the previous administration, the CDC government?
On many occasions.
On many occasions.
And government should be critiqued in order to perform. The nation belongs to all of us. When the nation gets better, we all get better, our life improve, the future of our children get better. When it goes back, if the average effects come on us. Because when you sell bad concessions, at the end of the day, we get affected. Look at the issue of CTN and NTMR with that of transport ministry. Bad concessions, who are suffering for it. Look at the issue of CTM, Mentos, APN terminal.
What do you make of all of these different...
Because when you sell these bad concessions, it affects the citizen. Tomorrow, you, the president, you are gone. You are getting your kickback, your levy, your presidential benefits. Why the people are struggling? So we should not limit governance to a sitting president, or we should not create law for an individual over the country interest. And the society have been created in a form that if the president doesn't like you, I mean, nothing happens for you. Because why? A lot of people want to be ministers. I'm not talking about, I'm just making general analogy. Because why? The public sector, which is the government, people believe that they where the good jobs come from. If you have not minister, director, assistant minister, some position in government, you can live a better life, or you can be a better house. Because while the senior government officials are compromised domestic private sectors that are intended for liberalization policy to foreign interest because of kickbacks. So majority of common Liberians who doing business live by what Liberians may say to get to survive. They don't do it for middle class to create wealth.
It just live on the
average. Not even average, to even meet up with the household consumption at the end of the month, and everything is costly. Look at electricity. The cost of electricity is 24 cents. When you add taxes, it's 26 cents plus. You know, so the wages are low for the common people, minimum wages, while the cost of living is high. Then the wages for top public officials is high, while the cost of living is low, because we pay all of the salary and the benefit. Then we pay you gasoline, we pay you some housing facility, scratch car. Then some government official will give them duty-free facility. In the real economy world, when you're making income, you should be able to purchase in the economy so that those who are doing business get income to pay more taxes. But you pay, then they use money, public officials, they buy nothing because we pay for it. And those who make less income, they buy everything and they pay the higher taxes. So it's the inverse. So what it does, it keep people in perpetual poverty and keep the government officials in the higher level without paying nothing to the country. So you stagnate the economy because why? You are compromised everything against your own people interest. You give everything to foreign interest, but their profit, they expatriate their profit to build their home. You know, the we here, we bear nothing because we don't have. And that has to change. Okay. That's the presidency I look at. That's the government I want to see to change. I want to see to change our country.
So let's talk about the Liberia transport, the transport ministry. Let's weigh a little more on what is your perspective on the issue currently ongoing with the management of Liberia Transport Management and the Liberia Transport Ministry, the agreement between the Liberian government and the Liberian Transport Management Authority, or whatever they call their name. How do you look at such an agreement between the government of Liberia and that management to manage, you know, the transportation affairs, transport services in our country? What is your opinion on that?
For me, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
The government is raising issues about the one for the budget to reach 1 billion.
1 billion.
Yeah, because that's the argument. Okay. 1 billion budget. The first question I ask those who, it is good, even we can even raise a trade on others. But if we undermine the process, we won't get there. Would there be cosmetic on policy issues to fool the uneducated people because they may not know? Okay. The first question I ask: who does a billion budget benefit? BBB.
Billion budget benefit.
Who does triple B? Yeah, triple B. Who does the billion budget benefit? The public officials
or the common people?
Or the common people? Absolutely not the common people. The first thing, you can get trillions of dollars. If you don't manage it properly, you will still not meet your target. If you manage little resources you have, there is a possibility they can manage over $1 billion. Okay. You talk about you want to raise money. Transport ministries per statistics, they feel that went on an investigation and found a statistic from January to July, transport per month statistics are received and intelligent that they raised $7 million. From January to July. I just registered my car. The paper under the table there. Okay. Yeah. You understand? Okay. So per month statistic, they raised 7 million. Okay. For the past, they've been talking about they've been raising between 10 to 12 million. Let's make the analysis on 12 million. Okay. If it is projected and is actualized of 12 billion and 12 million, I mean, okay, in 25 years, it's about 250 million. But you're telling me you want to give a transport company to a foreign service to a foreign company. Then I ask myself, why foreign company? That will pay 40 million within 25 years. If you are to divide that by 25 years, the 40 million, you talk about 1.6 million. Then you see you want to reach your target of 1 billion.
1 billion.
You left, where you generating the phone, we paying. You left that when you upsold it to foreign interest because few government officials prefer for the country to lose, they benefit. Then they can't say whether the government generates money, so they won't go to the GFK, they must pay it. They must go to churches, they pay it. What sense does it make? It doesn't make any sense. Why is it that we can meeting transport ministry collect all the money, the benefit comes to us? Because when you share profit, or what it may you share, what happens? They are not spending in our economy, they spend it to build their country. You got leakages. Why it does? You create liquidity crisis. Because you almost like when you suck the the money out of the economy and send it out. When we collect all, it remains right here. We build our country. So you're taking, within 25 years, you're taking 210 million and give it to foreigner and give us 40 million. Eh? When in 25 years, we can make 250 million. What happened to our brain? Where is our sense of? I don't know what happened to our brain. Where is our education? You know what corruption does? Corruption contaminate your mind from the real action to the wrong issues. That's a crisis Liberia is facing. To raise even $2 billion, it could not be an issue for Liberia. If we terminate CTN, if we terminate APN terminal, we terminate Mented, we send out a structure where GAC will audit, reduce our tax rate. What are residential, what are land detail, reduce it. Because in 2016, our tax rate increased 100%. In taxations, we don't look at the higher rate of the tax. We look at the tax base. Lower the tax rate that is affordable, that people know that they can make some profit, they pay. So you lower your tax rate and increase your tax base, then everybody get encouraged to pay. Because most of the taxes here, like for residential, are voluntary. If you make it hard, the pocket info, you have two things. That's natural economic phenomenon. If Joe Brown cannot afford and they want to survive, they will invade. Or they will compromise with the tax bill on the fee. Let's say for instance, a tax rate used to be 0.125. The government increases it to 0.25. That is 100%. So it means that for every $65,000 worth for property, at the time before 2016 it was $81 and change. Increase it to 100% is $162 and change. If John Brown was working 10, 15 years ago, can no longer make that income, he or she won't pay. And he won't take my property. But if they remain the same, they will say, okay, the money is small, in year $82, I can pay because tomorrow anything happen to my house, if I want travel, if I want bank guarantee, I can put my house on it. But when you increase the price, why it does down? When you build a new house, if the house costs 100,000, the tax analyst or policy maker, few people in the system will come to you. You got to lower your cost so you can pay lower taxes. At the end of the day, you will forget about now insurance on your house because you can't afford. That's a natural phenomenon. Or some people don't pay at all. If I don't pay, you can't take my house. I don't have it. So that is the sense we should bring to the disco for the country to improve. So the public official, because of corruption, they are tired and stagnated the economy in a way that everybody has to bribe you before they get something done. If government owes you, you go to finance ministry, they will almost take all of the money. The previous administrator were there, that my analysis, statistics, and observation, research. If the government owe you 2 million, will tell you say we'll give you 500,000. That's how you see most of the guys for finance ministry build houses all around you. You can't rob your people like this. And it's still going on. See, it's still going on. And if you don't pay domestic debt, how do I revamp my business? How do I create job? How do I pay my family? How do I pay rent? How do I pay electricity bills? How? And you see, in leadership, you come with empathy. If the leadership and the president of the country, minister or director, or senator or representative, I'm getting a daily bread to eat, I should be thinking how the citizens that elected me into power, how are they surviving? That's what happened when you talk about empathy in leadership. But if I don't think about that, it means that I don't want to be a leader.
Let's talk about this corruption. How do you think corruption is actually affecting, Liberia, and what can we do to reduce this?
If I were to
get it off.
If we are serious to fight corruption, let's make corruption non-billable offense.
Non-billable offense.
Yes. Non-billable offense. Meaning that if your institution give you money to buy television, you won't buy radio. You won't buy radio. So if we make corruption non-believable offense, it helps. But why are we not making it? First thing, we can say we are fighting corruption, then we have statute of limitation on the issue of corruption.
The statute of limitation. That's one of the problems. And a lot of us that happen with this corruption issue.
So our whole corruption fight is cosmetic.
Cosmetic.
It's not realistic. Because those supposed to pass a policy for it to be non-believable offense, they feel that they will be entrapping themselves in the future because the more many of our citizens' intention is to get in government to steal. The first thing is said here today, you don't have anything. You don't have a car. You don't have a good, decent house. You get into government, you build in 2 years or 3 years, you build house that cost over 200,000. Where the money came from? Huh? That's the question. Where is your income?
That's the question.
Where is your inheritance? Where is your other income part of the government? Salary, normal salary, fair, honest salary does not make people rich. It's investment that make you rich. Anybody who got rich in a short period of time in government, they stole the money. Or they stole draw some kind of a dubious thing. Only if they don't have any other investment. And there where we should look at, we have to be realistic on the issue of lifestyle audit. You got to the government job because there are many ways to corrupt the system. People can be in government and sell the job by convince the president. Give me the agreed. Concessions not the compromise. Oh, I want this share in the concession, I'll bring it to the president because president believes in it. So when the concession pass, rob the country, benefit goes to the president, they start being, some of them when they leave government, leave Europe and America, outside the country. How many government officials left the government country, government, and they remain
the previous government?
What a previous, upon governments about government.
Yeah, the previous, the United Party 2005, the Chancellor government, the dual government, the Turnbull government, the Totman government.
They have no contribution to society. The owner comes for job. 60 to 65, if not 70% of the people in the legislature, they are people who stole money from previous government and they utilize that money by trucking, paying you $20, buying back correct, cooking for them to get elected to the Senate or the House of Representatives. Going there doesn't mean that they're going there to seek their interest, they're going there to protect their stolen wealth. So that radical government comes, it will find it difficult to have them prosecuted because they already have constituency. They strike a deal with you. If not, sometimes they jump from their program, they jump to it because they're a ruling party. When I will use sometimes you have it protected. So these are the things that are affecting the country. But the electorate don't understand it from the perspective because of limitation. So they see back arrest in doing elections are talk and do. $20 by transporting to go to different counties, different districts or community to have been elected as talk and do. Around the world, they don't look at the money you bring on the table to be elected, your policy, your patriotism, your stand on national issues, your character now the cash you have. I don't want to vote in my party, anybody go there, I will vote. And tomorrow that same president of our party will deceive you because they don't have that moral standing to stand on your behalf in the legislature to fight for you.
All right. So let's talk about what is currently happening in your former party, the CDC. The CDC has a popular slogan that George Weah is coming back in 2029. This is a popular, and a regular public statement and comment all across, the political corridors that the CDC should come back in 2029. As a political scientist, someone who has been with the CDC, witnessed the leadership of the CDC for the last 6 years of governance, with this popular slogan, CDC is coming back 2029, I want to gauge your opinion and perspective on such a statement that is circulating the political corridors of our country? What do you make of that statement?
The first thing, I may not be a political scientist by credentials. You know, so I don't want to
but by experience.
Okay. I don't want
you've been in the corridors.
But I have wisdom, I have sense of reasoning, I have some required skills of education to analyze between the lines. That's why when I'm making analysis, I don't make it on the basis of biases or sentiment because I like you, I hate you. I make it on the basis of the reality.
Okay. What do you make of that statement?
The CDC was in power for 6 years. In less than 2 years, Senate took them from power. There were a lot of lapses. I found on the former president before his own Solicitor General came up quite recent to criticize that he found it difficult to criticize the government on ground that what they did is even worse than this administration. And when we are in power, I advise them. I advise them on policy issues, on economic issues, on corruption, on audit. You
advise them.
You go on one thing about some of the things I say is stay on my Facebook page. From 2018 up to 2023, I predicted the sanction of the Treasury Secretary, which we call here Finance Minister, Samuel Toy, in 2022, that he's going to be sanctioned for the redacted audit report we call on the basis of financial misapplications and economic fraud that is created by inflating financial figures, which is fraudulent by the Security Exchange Commission Act. You see, it broke all of the ethics, all the financial ethics, economic ethics, it broke all. And including our tax policy, because our tax law says that anything above 200, you should acquire manager check to pay government taxes because they don't want for somebody to handle cash it can turn you. You see, he took, according to him, 25 million and put it in a 4 expedition to go to Newtown, West Spain to divide money. You know, when you look at the Federal Open Market Committee Act on the issue of mock-up exercise, it did not say take the money and carry it to
money changer boys.
No, central bank gave the money to commercial banks. Money changer boys go to commercial bank and exchange your money and have proper record for what to avoid money laundering and terrorist financing. We have the same law here. A finance minister, why other countries say Treasury Secretary, does he know these things? He did it. And the inflated financial figure, when they gave you 5,000, they say 100 and some more thousand others on government book. Auditor went there and auditor, because auditor will always go to vendors with their way to get source documents as an evidence to determine how public resources were utilized. They found, of course, there was a lot of misapplication. The GSC said it. The special presidential team said it. You see? So they found up the technical economic management team similar to what the Federal Open Market Committee in the United States, where the central bank governor will be the chairman of the committee, but the Samuel became the chairman of that committee. Then he should believe that as a fiscal policy, a chairman cannot be involved into monetary policy. But that team was not for central bank. It was an economic team that intended to determine macroeconomic fraud to create stability. Therefore, he decided to be the chairman of it. When the central bank governor is similar to the Federal Open Market Committee in the United States, then the central bank governor should be the chairman. But you took the central bank government governor from there and put yourself there and make the decision. At the end of the day, when the team backfire, you say, no, you should not be blamed. But you are the chairman, you are making the major decision. And what happened? He was sanctioned.
And in spite of all of that, actually, in spite of all of that, there's still this regular public political statement that, oh, the CDC is coming back to power because of the administrative lapses that they are projecting that the Unity Party government is performing.
The point is that the first thing, CDC is a grassroots political party.
Okay.
If no government had the intention to improve the common people's life, CDC should have been the number one. Because there is the political party, the common people printed their t-shirt for job, where some of them died November 7. Some of them sacrificed their life. But when we are told power, what he did, he started building houses. Why is he not building the houses again? If he had really had money, why is he not
building the houses now?
Oh, so he finished within 6 months to 1 year.
He finished building the house.
So he had no intention again to build a house. Why? How did he build all the houses? So even he never stole the money. For the fact that he did not build it, power to becoming president. And he built it in a short period of time when he became president. When all of the corruption issue, the 16 billion, 25 million, when donor partner on seeing that the government entered our account and took our money, it raises eyebrow. So it was unwise. And that in the minds of the wise people as well. Yeah, the citizens, one party, partisans cannot make you president. Independent, critical minds, other political party member got to join. The statistics, CDC, the partisans cannot exceed 18 to 20% or 28%. About politics. And he must get 50 plus 1. So if the percentage, 20 statistic is static, don't forget about all the people are leaving. Not me keep you at 20, say again, 30 plus
30 plus 1%.
Yeah. Even though a lot of people have left.
And they're leaving with
so the followers. The partisan cannot make you president. And with all of these things, Mr. President was in power, you were on Facebook dancing, singing. People have seen that they no longer sing it because there is the time where he has nothing.
You think the presidency?
He has nothing to do, but that's the time that he's going to be dancing and singing music. Because you got leisure time now. When you are president, there are so many. To even be contested for serial representative post is not a small headache. You calculating how to deal with people. What policy will I craft that when I go there I will champion to benefit the state? Then you are president. Economic policy, healthcare, military issue, global issues, regional issues. People coming with complaint, corruption. You even have time. So I don't know how former President Joe are getting time to dance and sing music. I don't really know how you are managing to have time. So almost like you left the presidency and focus on your private issues. When you should be developing the country, you are taking that time to build all your houses. So people are seeing that John project. So how did Mr. President completed all a project, you could not complete the government project?
So you talk about the grassroots-based movement and all of that. My concern is that, do you think with what they are saying, CDC is coming back to power in 2029 and George Weah is coming back, looking at all of the quote-unquote lapses that the Black House administration is doing in the minds of the people who are projecting these lapses? Do you think CDC is actually coming back from a political and analytical perspective?
I can rule out
the chances and the possibilities.
Under the paraphernalia of the CDC becoming president, having the presidency in the future. But I know that it will be difficult for George Weah as a president on the CDC ticket to come back.
It will be difficult for George Weah.
Because the first thing, if you have the ability to articulate your own policy that will improve the living condition of your people. If even those who are at a young age now have some required education, they have the perception that that because the men love the country who have done it. But Mr. President approving himself that former president approving himself that he doesn't have the ability to lead the country. You know, so
in your wisdom,
that is
in your wisdom,
that is been proven by his 6-year leadership. He's a fine celebrated football. He play good football. We all admire him for that. But per his 6 years leadership, for me, to be honest with you, as a patriot of my country, he doesn't have the. How does he articulate his own policy to improve? How can he convince donor panel investors to come and help the country when you're on Facebook dancing and singing? That's what I told people. I say, what Mr. President was doing, he harmed the country, then he helps the country. No serious investors, no serious donor will help the country when they see you behaving like that. And people thought that it was because of hatred. No, that's the honest truth. How does he articulate that? How will you be coming back? Yeah, they did this way. They took the party haircut. They did 16 from CDC. Now they're fighting. And what sense does it make that CDC will say we have option to mandate the court for the court to allow the owner of the property to sell to them? It doesn't make any sense. It cannot prevail in no kind of court proceedings because there is no law force anybody to sell their property to you. They will be willing. Now by government forcing it. So I don't see that to suffice. And I see people still talking about option because why the officials of the CDC have not been able to tell the truth to the common people because of the lack of skills. Then they pretend to say somebody hate them, somebody try to undermine, or somebody try to do this. No, you blunder. Within 6 years, it should have negotiated. It should have known whether the John Brown was the owner of the property or Peter Paul was not the owner.
Bringing about this issue of the CDC property with the stubborn field, the CDC being in court on this property issue, you think CDC actually play a disservice role to its partisans when it comes to acquiring the party's headquarters, not knowing that the partisans will need the headquarters to be a place where they can all assemble anytime, any day, like the MPP is now and all of that. Do you think CDC actually play a disservice role to the partisans?
Well, Washington, whether you like it or not, through the party, we are build all the properties. Through the party, some of the CDC officials build houses and they own property, acquire wealth that they never dream of. So if individually acquire those things, the institution that make it to be, you cannot secure your party headquarters. Do you think anybody who has wisdom, who is or wise, who can rationalize, we take you serious, or we want to align with you, or to sacrifice, or to spend money on you? No, absolutely not. Because the first thing I always tell people, if you have an investment or what you call a business, and you benefit from that business, you must have it protected. If you can't protect it, who is going to confide in you and give you their own to manage?
So that means the leadership of CDC did not protect.
So it tells you that they were only there for themselves.
The partisans.
Then they continue to mislead the common partisan as to say somebody witch hunting them or somebody undermining them. But the same thing happened to UP, and some of them started castigating or making mockery out of UP as well. So it's not an issue of somebody against you. It's your own negligence, greed, and lack of interest for your own institutions or the common people. And these are the honest truth people fail to say, or they fear that, oh, yeah, will not put my head up. Our focus should not just be, because one thing I told people, giving me leadership and I fail to deliver, then there is no need. Leadership should not be about job. It should be about having the leadership to exercise justice, to create a wealth for the people.
You think CDC actually disappointed its citizens or its partisans?
They in fact disappointed the whole nation.
They disappointed the whole
nation. A
nation.
lot of people believe in it. They won according to 14 counties. So it means that the whole country may be disappointed in them. 14 counties. Why you think you never won? You know, so people, and the point is that many of the partisans of the CDC, they see George Weah as a small god. And even the child,
as a what?
Even
as a small god?
Even the child, when you let the child too much, that child will not come out good. You have to discipline the child, put them in the right track, give them direction.
Okay.
You understand? Or those children, you give them the direction. If you train a child better up, punishing, tomorrow they will prosper. Almost like the kid have a net. Playing with the net, then a good parent will come and slap the child and take the net. When that child cries, at the end of the day, the child will leave, that tear will go away. But you leave my child, man, you're leaving your hit home, man. At the end of the day, when that net cut the child, what happens?
The child live with a bruise.
Thank you.
So you think CDC is being CDC?
So it's good for you to cry, not to get hurt, then for you to be praised and to be harmed.
You think CDC? You think CDC is the one praising Weah and making Weah so competent,
they feel
and making him to feel like he owes nothing to the people, and whatever he does, the people still praise him.
Yeah. So because that's what makes he believe that everything he did was in the right direction, and that what affected him. If they are telling the truth, if we are, because of some reason he went to intention and he said, I don't want to see that way, then everybody come to Mr. President, we can't be that we are a national leader for the party. If you start doing, they will break down the party, and you come to realize, and you start changing gradually, because I say retain power. But Mr. We are fear that you never needed anyone. You can go. The people say want him. Whether he does right or wrong, they will say vote for him. That was a mentality there. That was they portrayed to the public. He lost 27,000 votes. You man, the 24,000 votes CDC lost was the people who got in disenchanted in their life. You know? Now with all of these things are being revealed, there are people who so this party may they turn financially strong and they should have buttress the party effort, most of them leading. Yeah, you're a common man, you may like we are, but you don't have the financial strength, you don't have the ability to put people together to buy t-shirt or the we are paraphernalia to stick it somewhere for you to go. You don't have the ability to go to pool washing. So you get a number of politics.
What do you think would have happened to Liberia if the CDC would have continued another 6 years of leadership to sum up to 12 years? What do you think will be by now?
My analysis and my research, things could have been worse than it is.
Things would have been worse.
Yeah.
Today.
I'm not saying it to give this administration a leverage. I'm just saying the reality. Even the administration doing a lot of things that I dislike. Even we support it, because we want it far better than this. You see, but it could have been a disaster. I would tell you, there are a lot of things happen. Look at the issue of magazine that they signed the CTM LTM contract and they forged the personal signature. All that time, you people could not apprehend these people and punish them. So, you got a leader, any people you bring, all they want to know what there for me. When you say this is what there for you, they sign it. You don't run the country like that. So you mock the future of generation upon generation, and they are very infed when you leave. Like they put the country how nothing can change you, because the other good are coming. The people go to them and take them for you to retain. Then you ask yourself why things are not changing. And in order for things to change, for Liberia to meet their full potential and have a middle class income, you have to reduce taxes. You have to undo most of those bogus concessions that public officials are benefiting from while the country is losing. So you need a revolutionary, radical redeemer.
And you don't see that characteristics in George Weah.
Don't forget about George Weah.
You talk about radical, revolutionary.
I look at the interview between Ellen Jones and that Joe where we fire some issues. Weird era is soccer and entertainment. I'll be very honest. Weird era is soccer or entertainment.
That means
amusement.
That means he was politically abused becoming president.
What? Because you see,
is that what it means?
Weird presidency was like people anticipated the issue of this Samuel Doe with the perception that Doe was not a high school graduate. He excelled to the presidency through military coup d'etat. He picked up fast. He went to school. He graduated. He performed. He started changing private property to public property for government offices. You understand? The barrack was a zinc shot. He changed it to concrete. He put in barrack. He built sustainable roads. But the politics with certain group of people brought confusion due to your own understanding as well on the issue of Nima Gwen Jide. It came into ethnicity. But our crisis was made on the basis of economics and political. It degenerated into ethnicity because people use it to regain power or to come back to power. So the perception was that's why you saw people starting to do some with the hope that you could have that dream, like what you have seen now with Ibrahim Touré in Burkina Faso with Dalov Thomas Sankara. That was the
similarity.
Yeah. But it's totally the contrary when we became power. So to bring it back, it's a very, very difficult task for you. Almost like you want to go to Euro America or America, he fought hard, he got on the high sea, the boat almost sank, and you got rescued and they took you there. While living there, you started carrying on robbery, drugs dealing, then they deported you. So it takes you many years because they already got record on you now.
That's the analogy you gave. So that means George, we are coming back to the presidency. It's a serious challenge for Liberia's development.
You want to go to a mad this and then you brought you, but how long does it take you now to go back? However, John, we are very, very lucky. The only presidential candidate who spent less than 15 years imported to excel to the presidency. Look at people there who sacrificed for the country. They did not get it. Gabriel Paulet, Justin Hebdo, Backup Matthew, Ellen Johnson said, they got to bring war. Taylor, they got to bring war. So in a short period of time, to get to the presidency, they took in less than 10 years to leave the presidency. So to come back again, it would take in like how it took any Johnson or Tipote then and whatever, and they did not get it.
So finally, let's talk about the drug issue in the country. Tomorrow is going to be a nationwide protest. The Liberians are concerned about the issue of drug, the proliferation and the multiplicity of drug across every sector. Liberians are in the ghettos. The youthful population of the country has been bedeviled, harassed, with the influence of drug proliferation. And Liberians are concerned. Legislators are concerned. People in the executives are concerned about how drug is being, peddled all in the street corners of the country. As a politician and someone who has vast interest in the improvement and sustainability of the country, how do you look at the issue of drug, and what is your support for the protest or the peaceful march tomorrow? There's a group that is acting under the banner "Say No to Drug." How do you look at that, and what is your perspective on the drug issue?
The first thing, I'm not trying to give myself some leverages to show up in this interview. But I'm grateful to God that in 2017, from 2015 up to 2017 in my campaign, propose a new drugs law that we have now.
Okay.
That it should be non-billable.
Non-billable offense.
In fact, the current senator from Masorado argued that if that would have curtailed the issue of drugs, then it will curtail the issue of that. Then what happened with rape? Because rape is non-billable and people are still raping. So the argument went, and thank God that law was passed, because I made mention that when the drug law is passed, non-billable, those who bring in drugs in this country, after they are found guilty, their property should be confiscated and be utilized on those who are consuming the victim or consumption of the drugs. And I've seen law was passed and what have you. But here is it. None that drugs cannot be fought. Drugs can be fought. But people in the same system who are trying to fight drugs, they are still compromising the issue of drugs. And that is why it is prudent that corruption should be non-billable as well. However, they stay better than any other previous administration, because there is the only government that has seen drugs dealers now in jail being sentenced for 20 years. Are still to be corrected. Even a current representative of Nima County's son is being sentenced. That has not happened before.
It looks strange. Under the previous administration, the George Way administration, we had the importation of 100 million worth of drug followed by the 40 million, and we didn't see the prosecution of the people connected to.
So that is
these narcotic substances.
That is surplus, and we cannot relent. We stay control, even though we go to elections. Sometimes you let you look at it different, because for me, I told people that as long as I'm fighting corruption, I can create an avenue to corrupt the system. I will not truck, I will not buy vote, I will not pay money to a party to get the seat. I'm going to be the architect of change. If I say I want to be an architect of this policy of change, I should not be the one to sponsor it. And the electors here, you either buy a party seat that is popular, you truck, or you purchase your vote. Then it means that rather than fighting against corruption, I'm supporting corruption in my interest. So I can do that. So let me be the victim of my own policy that I'm fighting against. So I'm a victim of patriotism. What I fight for change in my country is hurts my survivability. But that's the struggle. Mandela stayed in jail for 28 years. They were giving all of the wealth, everything to stop the struggle. And when he became president, he did not rob his people. So that's a legacy. So when you see proposing a drug law and a pass, even though we have not reached there, also propose personally a petroleum regulatory authority that is now on, with my colleague, is now on 18th Street, even though people don't pay, people who stay for these things. Also propose that port should be built in Bonnie. I stay, even when I indulge Joe Buck, I still remind him on it. These are the factors for which, However, the plus is there is progress, but we need more. So, those who fighting drugs, they are also compromising the issue of drugs. So, if we pass a law that has to do with non-billable on corruption, meaning that if a fan or you yourself involved into conniving with drugs agent, you finish. We'll start doing these things gradually. We'll start getting there. If we can't get there, we can also propose, and I hear people say, even in America, they still have death penalty. We say Malaysia, other countries, if you are caught with drug, a death penalty or lifetime imprisonment. We also amend the law again, either death or lifetime imprisonment. When you start seeing people, because you are killing other generation, it will start amending the law, change it, gradually we'll get there. That's why you see the drug issue in Malaysia, Indonesia, other countries. It is. They say Baso needs bad message to get rid of. So I support the fight against drugs. I cannot propose a legislation, then I go against it. And this is why I told people, we should not be cosmetic and deceptive in our decision making. We can't be opposition and say, Oh, they were wrong yesterday. When I get there, they start doing the same thing. Meaning that you are not real. I don't change my policy. It remains the same. If even it hurts me, as long as I'm doing it with my conscience.
Okay.
For my country.
Okay.
So I've never compromised my conscience against my country interest.
All right.
So I support the fight against drugs, not just support.
Are you staying with it?
I stay with it, and I want to see, because there are people bringing the drugs. You know, there are people who compromise.
The perpetrators.
Yeah, they are there. People are involved, benefiting from it. So if the president says everybody should take drug tests, if I in a government, anybody involved into drugs, you should never serve in public positions. Just like what I said, we will pass a non-billable corruption laws. If you find guilty of corruption, you should never participate in public position, whether elected or appointed. Because most often, people who stole, they steal money from the country and they utilize that money in election to buy vote and trust people in order to get bigger job. So that's why it makes that corruption has been difficult to be fought, and corruption is always on the increase because people utilize it to get bigger position. And we should be able to punish people to be discouraged to do wrong. At all times, wrong is wrong. No matter who does it, right should always be right. We elected people to do right at all times. When you do right, we don't praise you, we don't criticize you. But when you do wrong, we criticize you, we go against you, we fight you for.
All right. Thank you very much. Your parting statement, anything you would like to say to part of this interview? I believe it was a wonderful conversation with you, Mr. Sarnor. Let's just hear what you have to say.
Well, thank you very much for your topic. If the government came for the people to change, then the government should be able to actualize the campaign promises that were made to the people.
Okay.
CTM, mentors, these companies, what of current or former officials are still benefiting from the institution to rob the Liberian people. Be Martin came here to do mining. Few government officials allow them to start carrying trucks, to carry their own sand, their own water, importing it, bringing their own dump truck, their own trailer to carry their own container. That should be a local content equity participation for Liberians so that wealth can be created for them and they pay taxes to the government. Because what happens is that when the iron ore is depleted tomorrow, we'll be left with environmental issues. Who's going to solve that problem? I did a research. BHP Benito is being sued in Brazil for $30 billion environmental issues. They're in court. So what happened if there are environmental issues in Cape Town after B. Martin shall have left the country? Who is going to finance a road after they have damaged all our roads? But if he gave this contract to Liberian that look, these people can do money. Washington, get a contract to carry a container. Peter Paul, get a contract to carry their sand. Joe Brown, supply them with water. If Liberian get wealth, they pay their taxes. If tomorrow they leave, now wealth created will invest into agriculture, into real estates, into other businesses. Tomorrow, we're going to be financing the road on the basis of road tax. Okay. Bowman left. Bombi who left? What they left away? In poverty. So if we benefit from our natural resources, who's supposed to benefit? So the concession should not just be public officials compromise the country interest and they deny Liberian. That is why more government officials, when they leave government, they remain poor. Because there is no sector that are going to sustain them through private sector investment. All over the world, Ghana, all over you go there. B. Martin cannot come here, they want cement for their own plane to be built. Then they say they come to produce cement for that. And we have cement company, they're paying taxes. They should buy from the locals.
All right, Archie.
You see, then the agriculture minister left for there, they say they go to The rubber sector, the president should put ban on it because the Liberians are carrying columns. And he claimed that Jetty and Firestone are carrying on processing rubber. There is nothing changed. And he made mention that those who carry columns, they are exporting jobs. Firestone and Dollar, Jetty and the rest are creating jobs. That's not true. The only time you import jobs is when you turn raw material into finished product, and that finished product go to the outside market for consumption, and some are also be utilized in your country. Then you are created job or you are imported job. But what the rest does is to dry the water and send the same raw material. But the point here is that because they saw few Liberians getting into the sectors, exporting their rubber, even though they don't have equipment to dry some of the water, but they are making money. So Jetty, it is alleged that Jetty saw that as an affront because he want to control the market. So they're using people in government, giving a kickback percentage to stop other Liberians. But when other Liberians sell their raw, all their money proceeds come back. When Jetty fires to sell, they only bring their own hair here. Their profit remain, they build their country. This is how public officials have been marginalizing Liberians over and over. Yeah, there are some issues. The 4% will be correct, that when you want to export, pay the 4%. But you can't tell me if the Liberian men want to export your columns, you must pay 3 taxes for one container. Then when Jetty dry water, Firestone dry their water, a few other people they can carry without anything. Because the money that they're getting, they share with few public officials. That is wrong. You cannot continue to keep your people in poverty. You understand? Rubber can be planted, but gold, iron ore cannot be planted. So when they are depleted, it is gone. But Liberians are not even settlers. Well, why the government is not telling these companies to process the gold here?
Process the
iron ore here. That would be the other raw material. Yeah, raw material.
But thank you very much.
So if Jetty wants the raw material, make farm. The farm will do what? We'll create more jobs.
We'll create jobs and we'll
so
process.
They use the processing aspect to fool those who don't understand this thing in order to benefit from these foreign institutions because they say Liberian can't get bra. They want but the man left for here. He says, see, I can't get government job, let me go make farm. Then he's stagnating the man, strangulating the man. So the difference between the CDC land case and the agriculture minister on the issue of the local farmer is no different from just the agriculture sector and real estate. Because he say you are forced to buy your property. Then agriculture minister say you forced to sell to this man. And not forced. If you don't want to go make farm.
All right, Achi.
Otherwise, if you study about value addition, then nobody should take raw rubber, the export tire, rubber dishes, and some will be used in the local economy.
That's a good
for purchasing.
That's a good analysis, and we'll find time to talk about that. Thank you very much, Achi Sarnor. My name is Washington Tappet Jr., and behind the camera is Anthony Fomba. Thank you very much for live streaming this interview with former representative aspirant Achi Sarnor. Until we see you, until we talk to you, it's a goodbye from me. Bye-bye. Thank you.